I was to tell you that we were going to get Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bill Goldberg at an upcoming WWE event, we would all set our hype levels to ludicrous. There's just simply no two ways about it. A match we always wanted but never got between two huge wrestling superstars from yesteryear. There's a great recipe for success. It doesn't always go this way, however. If you know Repo Man is about to take on Brutus the Barber Beefcake, you likely don't care. Why would you? It's a thief going against a hairdresser. What are you buying into anyway? This doesn't mean it can't surprise you though, because it can. No matter who is in the ring, if there's a chemistry there or a good idea, even the most lackluster of lineups on paper can shine. That is a very welcome surprise. Note that only matches that were sub 14 minutes were up for consideration, but I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is the 10 most epic wrestling matches that weren't supposed to be epic. Number 10, Chris Jericho vs Rey Mysterio. Judgment 2009 was the first encounter between Jericho and Mysterio that year, and no matter where you check in during this 12-month period, you will be satisfied. It's just two wrestlers proving that they're very good, and it's just so lovely to watch. It's like staring at a hypnotic fountain. So pleasing, you just want to sit down and never stop looking at it. The reason Judgment Day stands out is because they weren't given that much time to go at it over the Intercontinental title, meaning they had to get as much done as possible before being told to go home, and it set the bar, which they would continue to try and top. This almost served as a foundation of what was to come, and while of course many assumed Mysterio and Jericho would work well together, it was what they achieved in less than 13 minutes that really impressed. It was great, and it would just continue to get better. Number 9, the Hardys vs the Dudleys. The Royal Rumble 2000 was just a pretty damn good event anyway, but what many forget is that on this card we did get the Hardys versus the Dudleys in the first ever WWE tables match. Given there wasn't any context for this, there wasn't that much excitement, it was just the Hardys and the Dudleys. It's fine, but it was what it was, and they all went nuts. Using the Dudleys' knowledge from their ECW days and the risk-taking of Matt and Jeff, everyone here was willing to put their body on the line in order to make a mark that we're still talking about today. And lo and behold, look what happened. Breaking the rules was the goal for both these teams, and Edge and Christian, who had done something similar at No Mercy 1999 and a ladder. And seeing this evolve into an almost game of chess where both teams found innovative ways to avoid going through a table was awesome. The most memorable spot was Jeff's ridiculous swanton bomb off the entranceway to bring the match to a close, and this broke all expectations and left the audience exhausted. Like excellent sex. Number 8, Edge vs Kurt Angle. During 2002, Edge decided he would have great matches with everyone. That's what he did, and the highlight of those may have been his brawl with Kurt Angle at Backlash of that year. The amount of stuff they both got in under 14 minutes was almost beyond belief, and then there was the sheer pace. But the way Angle and Edge went at it here kinda served as a transition away from Attitude Era brawling into the style we're more used to today. As no one really expected it though, it almost seemed as if both men were in fast forward because they barely let up. And by the time Angle beat Edge in just over 13 minutes, it was hard to know what to do. We'd seen Epic almost redefined here, and in many ways, that wasn't meant to be the plan. I mean, look at the main event. Triple H versus Hogan. Number 7, The Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather. Being surprised by an epic match that isn't meant to be epic is the way of things here, hence why The Big Show and Mayweather's clash at WrestleMania 24 makes the list. I was at this live too, and I can say it was equally surprising in the stadium that night as well. Floyd just knew exactly what to do, and the match was booked very well given who was involved. Big Show played his part wonderfully, but it was Mayweather and his desire to seriously commit to this that took it up a notch, and there were plenty of bells of whistles due to outside interference and weapons, but this was arguably one of the best matches featuring a celebrity in modern WWE history. Thinking how this could have gone, well, it was almost incredible what we actually saw here, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it now for proof. Number 6, Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. It's no big surprise that Benoit and Angle always had great chemistry with one another. They were very much of the same mould, and given that Kurt was finding his feet during their feud, that only helped the quality get better and better each time they tussled. By Unforgiven 2002 though, Angle was the best performer in WWE, and the technical wrestling spectacle he put on here with Benoit was like nothing else. And they made technical wrestling entertaining. So many people had said that wasn't possible. With Angle perfecting the art of the near tap out and Benoit always being very good at selling pain, this raised the bar so high in terms of WWE expectations, and it all happened in 13 minutes and 55 seconds. Madness. This is one of those matches you can go back and watch whenever and it will always be as good as you remember it. And it seems crazy in 2018 to think that WWE would want this to go so short. Different times, different things, I guess. Number 5, Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. As important as the WCW Cruiserweight division was, it was never treated the way it should have been. Laughed at by the true main eventers and often given no time for their matches, everyone involved made their reputation by being incredible performers to the point you couldn't ignore them. you tried, they'd hurl themselves off the top rope and flip like a dolphin, and then you would notice them. It's why the likes of Rey Mysterio were brought in, and for the moment he arrived in 1996, the mainstream American audience started to realise what the big deal was. When he went up against Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc 1997 though, the whole landscape changed. Genuinely one of the finest matches WCW has ever offered. Not only did both men prove how athletic they were, but showed they could do everything with great storytelling too. Throw in that this was also title versus mask, and it had everything. Guerrero and Mysterio delivered in spades. Number 4, Mark Henry versus The Big Show. If you were brand new to wrestling in 2011, this would have probably looked pretty good, to be honest. Two massive dudes promising to try and kill each other in a wrestling ring. If you had more knowledge, however, the likelihood was that Mark Henry versus The Big Show at that year's Vengeance would be average at best. Far surpassed that opinion. Happening during a period where Henry just understood what it was all about and how to apply that to wrestling, he began to have far better fights than he ever had done, and while these were better, I don't think many people would have put the word epic in there, especially when The Big Show was his opponent. Surely this would be a plundering big man contest. Wasn't. Going around 11 minutes, not only did the pair smack the crap out of each other, but the big finish that saw the ring break for only the second time in WWE televised history received a monster reaction and left the fans in awe. Both Show and Henry had built to this perfectly, so when the latter hit the former with a top rope suplex, it just worked, and the match had ticked all the boxes. Number 3, RVD versus Jeff Hardy. Invasion 2001 is mostly remembered as an absolute farce, given how the WWE versus WCW angle was handled. We've been through that 1,000 times, so let's not do that again here. Even with all of that, if you put RVD in the ring with Jeff Hardy and throw the hardcore title on the line, you're going to get something special, which we did. The creativity and brutality was otherworldly. Both Van Dam and Hardy wanted to push the boundaries of what hardcore meant, so threw everything into the match, including ladders. It got so out of control, it's also the bout where some of JR's most famous quotes come from, including, "How do you learn to fall from a 20-foot ladder?" Didn't want to risk doing a JR impression there. And we don't know the answer to that, Jim, but it was a great question. Number 2, Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio. Once again happening in the year 2002, where Kurt Angle just opened up and unloaded, the Olympic gold medalist went at it with Rey Mysterio at SummerSlam and probably had the best match possible that went under 10 minutes. And it opened the show. Go beat that. In short, it was phenomenal, and another entry in the "how are these men moving so fast" category, because they just didn't stop. And there were so many false finishes during a time when they weren't overdone. You can just see by looking at the crowd how special this was. It's almost hard to believe it only goes 9 minutes and 20 seconds. There's a reason this pay-per-view is considered one of WWE's best, and this is a huge part of it. It's as good now as it was then, and that will always be the case. It won't ever age, because it's brilliant, unless for some reason wrestling changes tact entirely, or goes underwater or something. Other than that though, amazing. Number 1, Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. A big thing happened at WrestleMania 8 when Bret Hart took on Roddy Piper for the IC Championship. Hart nicked his forehead to add colour, and it added all the emotion needed to a match that had had hardly any build-up. Beforehand, it was just there. This displeased the pair, obviously. So an amazing pre-match promo by Piper, coupled with the sly blading by Hart, took this from something to throw on Mania to something fans couldn't stop talking about afterwards. In short, that means with 2 minutes of time before they hit the ring and 13 minutes when they were in it, Bret and Roddy defined how to make a non-epic match epic and helped each other out in the process. It also had the added trinket that what started as a respectful contest soon broke down into a personal fight, and that is a huge feather in both men's caps as they proved they didn't need all the time to tell a great story, and think about how many others would.
Hello What Culture, my name is Simon Miller and today I have an announcement so big, so huge, it's gonna shatter the very foundations of your life to the point you may need to phone up a friend and say, "I don't even know who I am anymore, I have just heard the news, have you heard the news?" They'll probably say, "No, I haven't heard the news," but you're already on the phone to them, you've already connected with them, so I would appreciate it if you either tell them the news or send them to this video. Thanks. So what is the news? Well, it's nice and simple. I've heard you out there, I've seen you've been commenting, I've read your tweets, and I can now officially let you know that if you do enjoy Raw ups and downs, if you do enjoy SmackDown ups and downs, that now you'll be able to set your watches to them, you'll be able to make notes in your calendars, because we're gonna have an official time for when they're gonna go live. I know, massive. So Ups and Downs for Raw will go live at 2 p.m. GMT, that's British time every Tuesday, and they will go live at 2 p.m. GMT every Wednesday for SmackDown. So you don't have to be aimlessly walking around anymore going, what do? I wanna know what got up and what got down and what Seth Rollins did or what AJ Styles is up to. Now you know, 2 p.m. GMT Tuesday, 2 p.m. GMT Wednesdays, Ups and Downs coming at you in the face. I realise what I just said, retract that, keep moving on, and I hope to see you there there soon, and I hope that we build an audience so big that if I ever wanted to march an army anywhere in the world, I could, and we'd call it the Ups and Downs Army, because I haven't come up with a better name. So yes, just to reiterate, Raw Ups and Downs, 2 p.m. GMT Tuesday, SmackDown Ups and Downs, 2 p.m. GMT Wednesday. I cannot wait to bring this brand new era in, and unlike other brand new eras, I've already let you know exactly what you can expect to see. Come on, 2019, Kenny Omega, we don't know where he's going, but you do know and you can always rely on Ups and Downs.